Hi, I'm Jamie, and this is Simply Learning Together, where I like to share all kinds of things about our homeschool. Today, I want to specifically talk about the curriculum that we did use this past year. I can't believe it, but we are about to end our school year here in the next couple of weeks. And so as we do that, I'm kind of reflecting on what we did and what worked and what didn't. And I've already shared in a video our family subjects, so I will link that video here. But today I want to focus on math and language arts. This is specifically for my children they were kindergarten this year, 3rd grade, and 5th grade. I want to start with my oldest because what we started in the beginning is what we used all throughout the year, which I think is fantastic. It means it worked. She was a 5th grader this year, and let's start with math. So for math, we use BJU Press, and we started it in 4th grade, and I have loved it. It has really been a great fit for her and I together. I've had quite the math journey trying to figure out which curriculum is best for my kid, and I have a video where I kind of go in detail about all the different math curricula we have tried. But it took some trial and error, and I feel like we finally found a good fit. So I am very happy with BJU. I feel like the teacher guide is helpful. I mostly only use it for answers, but when I do need it, as far as teaching a lesson, there is a script. I also love the fact that they had 2 textbooks, a work text and an activity book. I never, ever felt like I didn't have enough problems to practice. So for example, we could work through the work text together, and if, even just if it was doing evens, and then I could assign her the odds for her work on her own. Or if we needed more practice in the work text, they also had an activity book, which is the lesson on one side, practice, and then it's review on the back. So I felt like she had plenty of practice for the skill that was being taught, but she also had the opportunity to review when I wanted her to. So I absolutely loved it. I've done curricula before where I'm trying to teach a lesson and I'm like, I need more problems to teach her this. And so I'd have to either make them up or go and search them out. I never experienced that with BJU. So we started Math 6 a couple of weeks ago, and so BJU was a great fit for her. Okay, so that's her math. For language arts, we are doing the same thing that her and I have done for the last 2.5 years. I've shared it here before, but 2.5 years ago, we ditched the all-in-one language arts curricula, and we learned everything for language arts based on novels. And I've shared a lot in my videos that I call DIY language arts. And the reason I call it that is because we make it up based on novels that we're reading. And over the years, I've kind of adjusted it, but it has been absolutely wonderful. We are going to continue that, and I'm actually going to include my other girls for language arts. So I am not purchasing any language arts curricula next year. We are all going to be doing it based on novels. But what I love about it is we're getting all the things. We are studying passages. We are doing spelling practice, vocabulary practice. My kids get copywork and handwriting practice. And we even get some grammar from it. So it's just been a super great fit. Plus we read so many good books together. So I have a template. This is how, when I do a novel, I kind of record the stuff that we're doing, but I'm even making guides now that I've had the hang of it and I feel like I know enough I can share. I have published my own novel guides that you guys could do if you wanted to try something like this. So, it has passages that you can study, spelling words that you can practice, vocabulary words, and I walk you through the whole process on how you can hopefully do this on your own. So I will link that here. I don't want to chat much about it because I chat enough about it in other videos, but this is what we do for language arts. With her, I've done it for the last 2.5 years. It's been fantastic. I've seen the improvements in her reading, in her writing, in her vocabulary, in her spelling, in all the things. And it's fun. It's fun. And when we were doing language arts workbooks, that was not fun for me. And I don't think it was fun for her either. So I really love that we are engaged and enjoying what we're learning about books. I do add in grammar to our language arts, and that's more just a personal thing. You can definitely learn grammar from the passages that you're studying. However, I like just knowing that I'm being consistent, and by adding in a grammar curriculum that's just grammar focused only, I feel confident about that. The last couple of years we did Fix-It Grammar. This year I switched her to Easy Grammar, and they have a student workbook, but they also have something called Daily Grams, we found a really good rhythm where we were doing one lesson in here on our grammar day. And then all the other days of the week, she was doing daily grams. I love these. If you've never seen them before, it kind of has that fix-it grammar feel where it's just real short and quick. However, you're practicing like so many different things: capitalization, punctuation, parts of speech, analogies, sentence combining, all that's here. And so it takes her maybe 5 minutes and she does one page a day. So that was a really good rhythm. Eventually, I kind of nixed this and focused more on the grammar in our passages and continued review with this. So next year, we're going to kind of more go on the daily side than we are focusing on the book, because I'm just not finding it to be challenging. You know, like I would try to find, okay, let's find a lesson, you know, what's the next lesson? And it would say how to use good and well. And it was just like, well, we talk like that. Like, that's how we talk. We know how to use good and well. Or, you know, it would say something like contractions. Well, we've done contractions for like 5 years. I don't need lessons on it. So ultimately it was just kind of like, we get it. We need something more. And so just putting in the time towards constant review was what was helpful. So next year, we're going to go more on this daily gram side, and I'll talk about that more when I share our curriculum for next year. So yeah, Easy Grammar is the company. They make both of these. Okay, so that's it for 5th grade. So let's move on to my 3rd grader. We started math with Confidence. So she completed Math 1 and Math 2 in Math with Confidence, and then I decided to just continue to Math 3. Well, as we were working through it, I felt like we just weren't making the progress that I wanted to, and I kind of felt like we were hitting a wall. To be completely honest, her and I have a fantastic relationship. I love her dearly. She's my child. But when we sat down to do math lessons, it was like, so I don't know if you've ever felt like that, but consistently every day, it just was kind of a fight. And I remember going to my husband and being like, I can't, we're going to do online. We have to do online because I need to regroup. I need to regroup my head. I need to figure out how to best help this child because I love her and I want her to do well. So I quit and I signed up for online math, and it was CTC math. And I had heard about it all through podcasts. And the reason I went with it is because, number one, it wasn't full of games. I knew she would love that, but she is the type to be distracted by something like that. And so I didn't want it to be a part of it. And I didn't want games to motivate her. I wanted her to be motivated naturally. I'd also heard that it was diagnostic. So you could figure out what your kids needed based on their abilities. And because she had struggled in math before, I felt like that was going to be really helpful for her. So I signed up for it. I put her going just right at 3rd grade. And immediately in the first few days that we were doing it, I felt like I'm not doing this right. I am not experiencing the bliss that these people are on the podcasts. I don't know what they're talking about. How is this so diagnostic and helpful? Because I'm still sitting here and we're still fighting about math. And so I looked into it a little bit more, and they have a lot of helpful videos on their website. And I finally figured out how the diagnostic feature works. Basically, what you can do is you can test your child or do an assessment before they complete something, and you can figure out where the gaps are. So the video actually suggests that you start a grade level below and start doing those diagnostic tests. And of course, that made me feel like, oh my gosh, we're going to go back a level. This is going to be bad. But I knew that those foundational skills were going to be so important. So we did that. We went back to 2nd grade and started doing the diagnostic testing and working through that. After a few, I felt like it was just best for us to just work through all of 2nd grade. And so we did. And so it took her about 6 months, and she completed all of 2nd grade in CTC math and then started 3rd grade. And so, it wasn't your typical classroom time that, she was supposed to be on. But once I let go of that grade level thing, wow, that was a weight. That was a weight off. And I saw her thrive. So I feel like it was the best thing that we've done because it really helped me let go a little bit, stop pushing so much, because I saw that to be a problem. I think I was pushing a little too much. And it also just really taught her some independence. I mean, then she was able to complete lessons on her own. And there were definitely times I still needed to jump in and help her, but she's really gained some independence with math. So my only complaint about CTC math is there are times when I feel like paper and pencil is beneficial. And the one time that came up was the end of the second grade course when they were going through borrowing. And so, you know, you got to cross out a number and carry it over, and they have all the tools to do that on the computer, but like the cursor will move automatically. So to me, that's like cheating. Like, I want her to know where to put the number. And so in that moment, I felt like, oh, do I really like online math? But I just instead had her do the work on the paper, and I put in the answers on the computer, because I really do think that she was struggling too. So pros, I love that it was diagnosing where she needed to be and what she needed to work on. It promoted tons of independence, which I think was great. It helped me step back a little bit and let her go on her own time, like self-paced. She could do what was best for her, and I wasn't trying to keep her up to the appropriate level. So in all those ways, it was good, but I do sometimes just miss the pencil and paper. So I did get a little math workbook for her to practice in this summer, to practice paper and pencil and kind of see, you know, can we come back and do this together again? But as of right now, I really don't have plans to stop CTC, because it has been a really good fit. So I'm kind of, I think by the end of the summer, I'll know for sure. So that's the story with math. For her, for language arts, we've actually still been working on reading. Reading has been a journey. We've done a few different things to try and learn how to read. And I have, once again, just learned that not everybody starts reading at the same time. And it has been such a growing experience for the both of us. So we actually finished the year, or excuse me, we started the year finishing curricula that we had done the end of last year. And that was, I think it's called Sharpen reading now. It used to be called ABC Darien. It looks something like this. I have a video where I walk through this whole thing. You guys, I loved this so much. It was so helpful. It really boosted her confidence. This is just the teacher guide, but it taught us so much. And we only did one level. We did B1. And I could have kept going, but I kind of wanted something a little more all-inclusive, which is weird because I don't like all-inclusive with my other daughter, but whatever. Kids are different. But it was so great. It taught us so many things. And I see us using the skills we learned in this as she still continues to practice reading. So just a really, really great reading program. If you have a struggling reader, yes. I think I cried while doing this because it just was so good. Okay, so once we finished that, I kind of wanted to just like lighten up, but I wanted to do something that was very much paced, like I knew exactly what to do, because since she was a struggling reader, I didn't want to kind of just go on the fly. I wanted to make sure that we were consistent. So I actually, with her, bought a all-inclusive language arts program. And the reason is because I felt like it would be a good fit for her. She is very much creative and she loves art, and I knew that the good and the beautiful would be a fantastic fit for her. So once again, I completely ignored the grade levels. I went to their placement and I put her in the course that I felt best suited her reading level, and it was not third grade. And so I said, you know what? It doesn't even matter. We're just going to work through it, and we are going to be consistent and practicing every day. So I cannot end the day saying we didn't do our job. Like, we were being consistent. And so that's what we did. And she loved it. Every day we worked through the lesson, and it was great. It was a good fit. I love their, they have these booster books and these reading cards. I'm going to talk about more about this in a minute. But they also, their spelling practice, the app that they have, lots of good things that really kind of kept it spicy. And it was really good for her. Now, since we have been more consistent and I've seen her improve, next year we are not going to continue with the good and the beautiful. She is actually, at the end of this year, we've been testing it out. She's going to be doing some novel study with us. the passage study, and it's been working really great. So yeah, it was just what we needed to kind of transition us from we're really focusing on reading to now let's bring some other things into this. And it was a really good fit for her at the time. Let's talk about kindergarten. This was my third time doing kindergarten, and it was like this is so peaceful. I know what I'm doing. But did I? It was a totally different child. And you know, if you have multiple kids, you're like, wow, they are so different. And she is really sharp. She already came into kindergarten able to kind of know her sounds and blend them together. And that was just her. I did not do preschool with her. She is just along for the homeschool ride. She listens to books. She sees her sisters working and she wants to work. That is her personality. Not all children are like that. I have the other type too. Okay. But I think it's just important to know when I tell you these things that we did for kindergarten year, that you know that her personality type is she's pretty sharp. She really is eager to learn and she wants to do well. Okay. So let's start with math. For math, I chose Math with Confidence because I really felt it would be perfect for kindergarten. It's such a gentle curriculum with lots of games and hands-on, and I had experienced it before with my middle child or my second child, so I knew it would be fun. So we did that, and I felt like it was really good at first, but then she kind of got to the point where she was like, can we just do the work? Like, I don't need to see a visual. I want to work. And like I said, that was her personality. So then it got to the point where we were skipping the hands-on stuff. And that's really what Math with Confidence is all about. Like, you really need the teacher guide stuff. And that she just wanted to do the workbook. And she was able to do the workbook all on her own without me doing anything. So we kind of just finished it. And then, I mean, in a few months, she was done with it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to move to first grade. So let's try something else. And like I said, with my math journey video, I love, exploring new things. And I had never tried the good and the beautiful math before. And I thought this would be the perfect experiment time with this child that is in this, we're not ready to move up or whatever. So I have always looked at it and wondered, what is it all about? And she was my experiment child. So we got it. I got the Simply Math K math, and it is very cute. I think she liked it. She loved the pictures. She loved the stories. She loves nature, so she loved that as well. And we worked through probably, I don't know, there was maybe like 10 lessons left. It's just not a good fit for me as a teacher of this house. I don't think it has enough practice for certain skills. And it's also one of those that kind of feels a little all over the place. Like, it teaches you a little something and then you're doing something else and then you're doing something else. And then the next day it teaches you a little something, but also review this, but here's a little something and here's a little something else. It's like these little tastes. And sometimes I'm like, can we just practice what you want to know? And I believe in the good and the beautiful things. But sometimes I'm like, can we just skip the stories and get to the work? And maybe that's where she gets it from. Like, that's where she gets, that's from me. But I think that's why it's not a good fit for us. I think this would be super helpful for somebody that was just starting out homeschooling and wants to be told exactly what to do and wants to have everything in one book. Yes, if you're a first-time homeschooler, for sure. Or if you like that slow, gentle approach with just a little bit at a time, yes, I think this is for you. No matter what year you are homeschooling, I don't think it's right for me. And then that's that. So I knew she was probably more like my oldest child. And so we switched her to BJU. And we started BJU 1 about, 5 weeks ago. And so, yeah, so this is how we ended our year. And I did go up to 1, and we're just slowly working through it. And so we'll finish the year off with this and we'll continue it next year. For language arts, for her, I didn't really know what I wanted to do because she, like I said, she was kind of already blending sounds. And so I thought, you know what, why don't I just use something that I have? So this is kind of a process, but I'll tell you what we ultimately finished on. We first tried Logic of English because I already owned it. So I bought the student workbook. I already owned the rest of the stuff, so I think it cost me like $20. And we started with Logic of English. She hated it. It was just too, what is the word? without being offensive. She just wanted to go, right? And Logic of English breaks everything down. It has a lot of information. It is great if you have like a struggling reader or something. Even if you didn't, I think it would be good. But she was just over it. She just wanted to do work and get going. And so I put it aside. I had no idea what to do next. So I pulled out something I already had, which is called Treasure Hunt Reading. If you've never heard of Treasure Hunt Reading, this is a great book for practice. I have a video. I can link it below. I love it because in a moment where I had no idea what to do, I was still consistently practicing with her. They have these little online videos and it's really cute and it worked for a little bit, but then I knew it wasn't going to stick around. And so it kind of just got me there as I prayed about and thought what to do next. In the meantime, I am switching my other child to this Good and the Beautiful Language Arts, right? And it came with these booster cards and these little readers, and I realized how great they were. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna let her practice language arts with this. She already practice reading. Other parts of language arts, I'm not gonna start grammar with her when she's 5. And the other things, reading good books, we do that all the time as a family because we're reading novels together constantly. So I knew she was getting all this literature. So it's just kind of, how do we continue to practice reading in a lovely way? And so let me share the pattern that we used to do this. And it was so simple and I loved it. Every day we worked through these reading booster cards. These are great. It teaches you a sound and you basically master. So here's ow and ow and ow. And you work on these words and you keep working on them until you master them. Once you master them, then there's a little sticker card and you move on. It tells you different ways you can practice down here. So it has lots of helpful tools. And then sometimes they have these pyramids where you can practice fluency. And then it tells you what book to read to help practice that. So then here inside this box, there's like 20 books and they're adorable. So much better than like a Bob book. Like, no offense, but they're boring. But look at the pretty little pictures and the words, okay? So every day I had a goal. Practice your cards and read to me. And if we didn't get to one of these, then we used these nature readers that the Good and Beautiful has. I'm obsessed with these. There's 3 of them. This is just the second and third one. They're so good. They're so beautiful. And my kids love them and you learn from them. Like, check science off because you're learning all this stuff about nature. So every day, practice a reading card, read to me. Practice a reading card, read to me. That was our pattern. And sometimes it would be this book, sometimes it would be this book. So if you want the simplest, most gentle, lovely reading practice for your kindergarten, I would definitely try this. Now, if you had somebody that was struggling with sounds and blending and stuff, then you might need to do a little bit more. But like I said, she was already doing that. She just needed consistency. Remember I said that I placed my daughter, I did the placement for the Good and Beautiful with my other daughter? The level that she placed at, my kindergartner, in the Good and the Beautiful, her writing wasn't up to par with what she was capable of reading. Does that make sense? So if I got the workbook that she needed to do, the writing was too much. She wasn't there yet, but her reading was ahead. So my goal was, okay, we're gonna work on reading in a consistent way, okay? And then I purchased a handwriting program for her from the Good and the Beautiful, and it was just level 1, and we worked through this. So we built her writing skills, and guess what? I wish I would have had something to show you. She just started doing the novel studies with us. Remember I said how we make our own language arts? All 3 of my girls can do the same novel. Language arts, a family study. It is possible, okay? And it's amazing. But she now does copy work. And so you can see how it's improved. So she was going from not really being able to put letters and, her reading was here, her writing was here. And now she's doing copy work with the girls. And it's really short sentences, it's not like anything extravagant. But that's what she needed. She just needed simple reading practice and she needed writing practice to help her kind of get to where she needed to get. So that was language arts for her. Besides that, it was just tagging along with all the amazing books that we're reading together. So very, very simple. But I'm going to tell you, once I found this rhythm with the cards and the readers, I loved it. And there was no fluff. There's no fluff to it. You're just practicing and reading every single day. Zero fluff. That is my jam. I love it. Okay, so that was it. That's math and language arts for all of my girls. Yeah, I'm excited for next year. I feel like we are starting to really get a good groove. Not a lot of things are changing, but I'm really looking forward to sharing what we'll be doing next year. So if you have any questions about our experience with any of this stuff, let me know, and I'm happy to answer that. But other than that, I always just hope that sharing my experience can maybe help you in decisions that you're making, because I know I love coming on here and saying, okay, I need to find somebody that tried this. What did it do for them? And that's always why I share here, not because I know what I'm doing or not because I'm an expert, but just because sometimes hearing someone's experience can really help you think about what you want to do. So that's always my goal. All right, until next time.